Welcome all. This is a lecture on algorithmic state machine. So algorithmic state machines, or more compactly called as the ASM, are powerful abstraction method for representing and designing digital circuits. We have already seen that finite state machine models can be used to abstract and design digital systems. There are two kinds of finite state machine models, Mealy machine and Moore machine. In a similar manner, algorithmic state machines, or ASM, can also be used as an abstraction of digital circuits. We will see how ASM machines work and what is the corresponding abstract representation of digital circuits using the formalism of algorithmic state machines. The corresponding representation is called as the ASM charts. First, let us motivate why we need to go in for abstracting digital circuits as an algorithmic state machine. We can see that any given real problem, if you want to design a digital circuit for it, we can first identify all the required building blocks that are needed to design the machine. For example, if you are designing a vending machine, then you would see that there are certain basic building blocks we would require. We are not talking about gates when we say building blocks. We are talking about higher level digital circuits. For example, shift registers, or counters, up-down counters, or adders, multipliers, comparators, and so on. Because we already know that these building blocks can be used to build complex circuits. So every time we need not go in from the scratch and start representing the entire digital circuits using gates. We can use it in terms of the combinational circuits which forms the building block, or sequential circuits like registers, shift registers, counters, and so on. So given any problem, first we can identify the building blocks that are needed in order to realize the digital circuit or the solution. So this we call it as the architecture. For example, if we have a vending machine wherein the user enters certain coins, so we should have a counter which can count the number of coins that are being pressed. Then if the user gives an option of what the user wants to take from the vending machine, again we need certain registers to store the options exercised by the user. Then we need certain inputs and outputs. Input like when the user completes the entering the coins or giving the options, and the output such as any error message or an indication to the user as the transaction is complete. So we have input and output, which can be in turn coded as binary numbers or bits, and we have certain internal memory, okay, which stores the state of the machine. So we may require adders or registers to store the count. Sometimes we have to count the number of coins being pressed, so we need counters, and so on. So these form the architecture. So once we identify all the architecture, then the design is not complete. We have to combine them together, all the building blocks together, and then control them. So any given design can be visualized to have two parts. One is the architecture, another is the controller. So this is the way we always view the digital circuits, to be an architecture along with a controller. Architecture is all the building blocks put together, wired together, and the controller is the one which varies from solution to solution, and that captures the logic involved in the design. So essentially the problem boils down to identifying the architecture and then designing the controller. So we will now concentrate on how the controller can be designed. So the controller basically is an hardware representation of the algorithm that is used to realize the solution. So this controller can be represented because it is basically an algorithm that needs to be realized. So we can represent it as an algorithm. In the problem solving using a computer language like C, C++, Java and so on, we know the first step involved in representing an algorithm is by means of a flowchart. So we can think of basically using a flowchart to represent the algorithm and then translate this algorithm into an architecture which we call as the controller. Well, so as such a flowchart is a good way of representing an algorithm, but the only problem that we encounter when we translate this flowchart into an hardware is that timing informations are not captured in a generic flowcharts. Flowchart only tell what steps have to be done and in which order for the problem to be solved. It doesn't tell how much time we can spend on each step and whether there is any timing relationship between performing one step and another step and the order in which they perform and so on. So we need a kind of flowchart which not only captures the jobs or steps to be performed, it should also capture the timing information. Algorithmic state machine charts are nothing but flowcharts which captures the timing information along with the flow of logic. With this background, we will see what are the components that are required to represent an algorithmic ASM chart. So similar to the normal flow chart, we have certain building blocks or units that are used to build or represent the ASM charts. The first one, as it is being shown in A, is a state box. It is usually a rectangle or a square representation, box representation. Within that, you can write down the name of the state which compactly captures what we mean by that state. It can be like start or end or display or print or error or anything that you want, but it is just for our understanding what that state actually physically signify. Optionally, you can give a list of output that should be issued when the machine is in that state. So we have an output list that can be associated with each state. Okay. We can also encode the state using certain bits. So the states can be encoded using certain bits. If there are 3 bits, then it can be a representation like 101 or 111 and so on. This can later be useful when we go in for a realization because each states have been encoded using bits and we can store the state by storing the state variables that are bit in flip-flops. So you have state boxes is one important component in ASM chart. Next, we have got decision boxes. These are the one in which the decisions are being taken. It is done by checking the variables. These variables can be an external input variables to the machine or the states themselves. So based on a condition on those variables, we take branches. For example, there is a condition which on checking, if it happens to be a true, we may branch out to one part, or if it is false, we may branch to other part. So as you know, decision taking is the most important component in any computer program or flowchart. So this decision box takes care of it. It is usually represented by means of a diamond with multiple branches. Okay, normally there will be one branch for 1 or true, another branch denoting 0 or false. So actually on that branches we may put 1 to tell whether the condition evaluates to true. If you put a 0, it means the condition has evaluated to false. The condition can be for example, a variable x, input variable x. This binary variable, if it is x equals 1, then it means we are taking the true branch. When x equal to 0, we are taking the false branch. It need not just be one variable, it can be a logical condition of more than one variables. For example, if there are 3 variables a, b, c, the condition can be a bar plus b, c bar. So any complex condition can be given, and based on that, the value, the logical value of the condition, branches can be taken. So this is the next important building block. We have a third building block which is called as the conditional output box. Well, we saw that there are 2 finite state machine models that can be used to represent digital circuits, the Moore machine and the Mealy machine. In the case of the Moore machine, the output of the machine are tied to the state, or the output are purely a function of the state variables, and therefore the output can be represented along with the state. Whereas in the case of the Mealy machine, the outputs are functions of the state, that is the present state, as well as the present input. So based on the input condition, the state, the output may differ in a given state. So in the same state, based on the input condition, you may have to issue one or other output. So these are called as the conditional output. In order to represent those conditional outputs, we are using this block. What we will do is, these conditional outputs are issued in the state when a particular condition occurs as decided by a decision block which leads to it. You will get to know a better explanation of this one when we look at its usage in an ASM chart. Well, before proceeding, we should know where is the timing being captured. We will see that this algorithmic state chart, okay, is have to be understood along with the timing nature that it exhibits. We assume that there is a clock which drives the machine realizing the algorithmic state machine, and in each clock period the machine remains in one state. At the end of that clock period, it goes to another state based on the decision variables and so on. So the machine always spends the time in one of the different possible states, and each state it remains for one clock period. It may remain in the same state, or it may go to another state in the next following clock period. So this is how the timing is being captured. More about this when we look at an actual ASM chart. So here we will have an example of an typical algorithmic state chart. So here let us look at this example that is given here. So we have a state here that is represented by a symbolic name P. It's also allowed that you can label these states by using a mnemonic. For example, P is a mnemonic or a label associated with this state. We have not written anything within this state. You can write like start, stop, whatever you want. In this one we are not using anything. No outputs are also given in this state. Okay. Well, you can also put the encoding that you want along with the state. For example, here we have encoded the state using the bit pattern 0, 0. Another state S is encoded using 1, 1. This state Q is encoded using 0, 1, and R is encoded using 1, 0. So there are 4 states P, Q, R and S represented using 2 bits. So later, as you will see, when we realize this machine, we will use 2 flip-flops to store these 2 bits, and based on the value of these bits we will infer or interpret whether the state the ASM machine, whether it is in the state P, Q or RS. Well, now if you look at this one, so this is one state. So the machine remains in this state for one clock period. At the end of the clock period, what it does, it goes to one other state, or it may come back to P itself based on certain decisions that are being taken. So here we will see that we look at a variable X, and based on the variable we take the decision. When X is true, we go to the state S in the next clock period. So the machine remains in the state P for one clock period, and in the next clock period it goes to the state S. It is to be noted that the process of taking decision does not take any time in this abstraction. So the decisions taking does not consume time, and it is instantaneous. So in one clock period we will be in P, in the next clock period we will go to some other state, and in this case when X is true we will go to S. When X is false, okay, we may go to another state, but again it is not necessary we should only check one variable, we can check multiple variables also. Here we also check the variable Y. So when X is false we check Y, and when Y is true we go to state Q, or when Y is false we go to state R. In other ways, it means you remain in P for one clock period, and when X is false and Y is also false, we take this path and go to R. On the other hand, when X is false and Y is true, we go to the state Q in the next clock period. So whether you go to S or Q or R in the next clock period, all of them you go to the next clock period only. So these boxes, decision boxes X and Y, do not consume any time. That is the most important concept that you should understand. Well, then we can apply the same idea here. Suppose you are in the state S, which is encoded using 1 1. Then we are checking here the variable Z. If Z is false, you remain in S. That is, you remain in S for one clock period. At the end of the clock period, you check Z. If it is false, you go back to S and remain. As long as Z is false, you remain in S for so many clock periods. When Z is true, then we also check X, and when X is false, we go to P, and when Z is true as well as X is true, we go to this state R. So this is how the branching takes place. In R, we unconditionally go to state P. Unconditionally, we can also go. Similarly, in state Q, we check W. When W is true, you go to R. When W is false, you go to P. So this is how the transition takes place. Okay. See, here we have not put any output variables. If you want, we can put an output variable Z here, and here you can put alpha, or whatever it is. If you want, you can put. The same output can occur in many state variables also. 2 or more outputs can occur. If no output is issued, we don't put anything in the state box. That is what we have done here. So in this ASM chart, there are 4 states, 2 state variables, and the inputs are the decision variables X, Y, Z, W. X is of course tested twice here. Okay. So if you associate certain outputs to these states, that actually is formally equivalent to a Moore machine, because outputs are given out when the machine is in one state. But it's also possible that you may want to conditionally output certain variables in a state under certain input condition. So for that we use this conditional output. Suppose take this, look at this ASM, a part of this ASM chart. If you are in the state S1, the output Z1 and Z2 are being given. But we want the machine to work in such a manner that in the state S1, apart from issuing Z1, Z2, we also want to issue Z3, Z4, but only under the condition x1 is false. Okay? If you want to represent it, how do we represent it? One way you may tell it, you can write it like S1 is equal to S1, Z1, Z2 unconditionally, plus Z3, Z4 if x1 is true. But that is not a good way of writing it. Instead, what we do is, we put this conditional output, okay, after the condition is being satisfied while you are in this state. So how do we interpret this conditional output is, this output Z3, Z4 is given out in the state S1, but only under this condition that is given here, that is x1 is 0. Okay. When x1 is equal to 1, Z3, Z4 is not given, whereas Z1, Z2 is unconditionally given in S1 all the time, irrespective of any other condition. Similarly, we want to also specify that in state S1, Z5 is given under the condition x1 is true and x3 is false. Then we put this conditional output after this branch. So again we have to understand that Z5 is not a state and it doesn't take any time separately. It is an output associated with the state prior to it, but the condition under which it is given out is to be found out by following the route from that state to this conditional output. That is, here x1 is true and x3 is 0 or false. If x1 is 1 and x3 is 1, we take this route and so on. So these are the conditional outputs. So we will see that conditional outputs can be used to capture the functionality of Mealy machines. And if you don't have conditional output, then such an ASM mimics a Moore machine. It is also possible to combine, even in a state machine, both the Moore as well as Mealy functionality, although we have not seen so far. That is, in the state, certain variables, output variables are issued in the state, certain output variables are conditionally given based on the input. Such a combined feature of Mealy and Moore can also be represented in the ASM charts, and we will see some examples for that. Now we will see how complex conditions can be evaluated, how there are many ways of representing a given ASM charts feature. For example, look at this particular ASM chart given here. Here in the state S1, Z1 output is given, and then x1 is a decision variable we check. When Z1 is false, we issue Z2 in the state S1. When x1 is 1, we do not issue this output Z2. Apart from checking x1, we also check x2 before branching to other states. So here we will see that when we come to testing x2 from x1 under both cases, whether x1 is true or false, which means that from S1 state, we will go to the state S2 or S3, irrespective of what value x1 takes. But if x2 is 0, we will go to S2. When x2 is 1, we will go to S3. So from S1, how do we find out the transition? You just follow the arcs. That is, when x1 is 0 and x2 is 0, we go to S2. Similarly, when x1 is 1 as well as x2 is 0, we go here, which means that for both values of x1, we can come to S2 as long as x2 is 0. Okay. Similarly, for S3, the only condition is x2 is 1. See, this basically two branches is only to capture when this output variable, conditional output variable Z2 is issued. This Z2 is issued in the state S1, okay, when this condition x1 is equal to 0 is obeyed. This ASM chart can also have a different representation. That is what is given here. Here look at this one. S1, in state S1 we give Z1. We first check X2. When X2 is 0, you would see that we will come to S2. When X2 is 1, that is what happens. When X2 is 0, we come to S2. When X2 is 1, we come to S3. When X2 is 1, we eventually come here. Okay. So how about the decision variable? Z2 is given, the conditional output Z2 is given in the state S1 if X1 is 0, whereas when Z2 is not given, we bypass it. Okay. When X1 is 1, we go here without giving this conditional output. So both are equivalent ways of representing the same logic. More complex conditions can be checked. For example, here we have a state S0 and then in which no output is given. So if you put bar something, which means there is no output that is given. If nothing is mentioned associated with the output is associated with the state, it means there are certain output variables, say Z1, Z2, but they are all zeros. That is what it means. We check a complex condition which is A plus BC. Okay. If A plus BC is equal to 1, then Z1 is conditionally given in the state S0. If it is 0, then it is not given. In both cases, we remain or go back to S0 itself. So we remain in S0 only according to this mission all the time, but A plus B, Z1 is given only under this condition A plus BC. So equivalently, this also captures the same logic. In S0, we don't give output. We first check A. If you see A plus BC is equal to 1, when A is equal to 1 or BC is 1. So when A is equal to 1, we don't need to check BC. We conditionally output Z1 and go back to S0. So when A is equal to 1, we output Z1 and go here. If A is equal to 0, then we have to check the condition B and C. So when A is 0, if C is 1 as well as B is 1, so this is the B and C condition, we output Z1 and go back here. These are the one condition when both B and C are not 1. So under this condition, we don't output anything but simply loop back to S0. So there are different ways in which the ASM charts can be drawn. They are all equivalent, representing the same logic. Okay. Then feedbacks can also be done, as we have already seen, but we have to be careful in drawing the circuit for or the ASM chart. For example, here we are in S0. Based on the decision variable, we branch out. When X is 0, we go back to S0. We remain in S0 for one clock period. We remain in S0 in the second clock period when X is 0. When X equal to 1, we go to some other state as given by this one. So this is a valid way of representing an ASM chart. Whereas if you look at this one, this is an incorrect way of representing an ASM chart, because here from S0, at the end of one clock period where you remain in S0, we check X. If it is 0, here it tells that you again check X. That is not meaningful, because at the end of this clock period, you have to go to a state. So looping back to the same decision block has no meaning. Looping back to the same state has meaning. So we have looked at what ASM chart represent and so on. Now what we will see is, how ASM chart is equivalent to the finite state machine model, Mealy or Moore machine model. So first thing what we will do is, we will have a look at first how, I will take a different presentation. So here first we will see how a Mealy machine can be represented as an equivalent ASM chart. One more example we will see for a Moore machine, and then we will see a complex example where we have an SM chart with Mealy as well as Moore functionality, and how it can be represented. So here is a very well known Mealy machine. Okay, it has 3 states, S0, S1, S2, and on 0 bar 0 you remain in S0, 1 bar 1 we go to S1, and so on. Just capture it. So for every state in the Mealy machine or Moore machine, or in general FSM chart, you should have one state in the ASM chart also. So for S0 we have one state represented using this rectangular block. From S1 we have this state representation. For S2 we have got this state representation. Okay, let us assume that this machine takes an input variable, call it as X, and it issues an output variable, call it as Z. So this is actually tells when X equal to 0, Z is equal to 0, and it remains in S0. So we will see what happens, what we should do when we are in the state S0. When X equal to 0, we should remain in S0. So for that you can use a decision box here where we check X. When X equal to 0, you should go back to S0. So that is what this loop represents. When X equal to 1, we go to the state S1 by issuing the output 1. So when X equal to 1, we go to the state S1. So that is represented by means of this arrow mark, but we should output Z equal to 1 in the state S0, okay, when the input is 1. So when the input X equal to 1, the output Z should be issued in the state S0. That is why Z is put as a conditional output, and it is issued in the state S0 when X equal to 1. See here, we do not issue an output. What it simply means is Z is an output, of course, but it takes the value 0. So whichever output which takes a value 0, we don't even represent. So if nothing is represented, it means the output is 0. If only when an output becomes 1, only those outputs are being shown. Okay. So now if you look at S1, state S1 given here. So when the X equal to 0, we issue output 1 and remain in S1. So we will see when X equal to 0, we issue Z equal to 1 and go back to S1. When X equal to 1, we go to S2 without issuing an output. So when X equal in S1, okay, when X equal to 1, we go to S2, okay, without issuing any output. There, see, look, there is no conditional output here. So this is S2, and S2 it is 0 bar 0, which is given by this loop, and if it is X equal to 1, you will see that 1 bar 1 means we conditionally output Z equal to 1 and go back to S0. We go like this. Okay. See, this is, we should not go like this. This is an arrow mark is in this direction. Okay. We should go to S0. So this is how a Mealy machine can be represented. We will just look at a Moore machine, okay, where there won't be any conditional output. So this is a Moore machine. Okay. First we will, but there are more input variables associated with it. So here, as you would see, there are 3 states A, B and C. So there are 3 state rectangular boxes, one for A, another for B and third for C. And there is only one output. The output is Z is equal to 1 when you are in state A. In B and C, the outputs are 0. So there is only one output, that is, so you put Z equal to 1 within the state A. For state B, you can just leave it without anything or put Z equal to 0 here also. So in no other place there are any outputs that are being shown. As you would see, there won't be any conditional output at all in a ASM chart that represent a pure Moore machine. And look at the other transitions. So here there are 2 input variables, one is X and another is Y. So we represent it as the 0 0 means XY is equal to 0 0, X equal to 0, Y is equal to 0. So how do we denote it or represent it? So in A, when both are 0, 0, you remain in A. So when x equal to 0 and y is equal to 0, you remain in A. That is what the self loop represent. And then this loop, when both are 1, 1, from A you go to C. Okay. When both x equal to 1 and y is equal to 1, you go to C. And from A you go to B when whether it is 0, 1 or 1, 0. So that is given by this one. When you look at follow this one, when x equal to 0 and y is equal to 1, or when x equal to 1, y is equal to 0, you go to B. So that is what this arrow mark is represented here. Similarly in B you can see that you check the variable x. Okay, when the variable x is both are 0, 0, what do? You remain in B. That is represented here. Both are 0, 0, you remain in B. And you from B you go to C when 0, 1 or 1, 0 condition is met. So when 0, 1 or 1, 0 condition is met, from B you go to C. And from B under 1, 1 condition you go to A. B when 1, 1 condition you go to A. So the last one is also very similar. From C also in a very similar manner you go. From 0, 0 you remain in C. From 0, 1 or 1, 0 condition you go to A. From a 1, 1 condition you go to B. So this is how the Moore machine and Mealy machine can be represented using an ASM chart. Now we will look at a state graph which has got more the functionality of Mealy as well as Moore. That is, it has got outputs tied with the state as well as conditional output. For example, this is such a state graph. S0, S1, S2 are 3 states. Okay, and there is an input which is represented here. It may be sometimes 0 or 1, 1 and so on. So it has, if it has no output being issued, if all the outputs are 0, then we represent it as bar 0 and these places. If we had a specific output becoming 1, that output alone is represented here, which means that in this transition all outputs are 0, whereas in this transition Z1 alone is 1, other outputs are 0. See, actually there are the following outputs. ZA is an output which is given always in S0, ZB is always given in S1, ZC is always given in S2, Z2 is given in S2 only when x equal to 1, and when x equal to 0, Z1 is given in S2. So that is this one. So the equivalent ASM chart is given here. In S0, ZA is given, you have encoding as 0, 0 for it. When x equal to 0, we go in S0, that is given by this one. When x equal to 1, we go to S1. When x equal to 1, we go to S2, where ZB is given, encoding is 0, 1. Then based on x, in S1 based on x, when it is 0 you go to S0, when it is 0 you go to S0, when it is 1 you come to S2 where the output is ZC and so on. So we just look at the conditional output. In S2, that is S2 encoded by 1, 1, when x equal to 1, you conditionally output Z2 and remain in S2. Whereas when x equal to 0, you output Z1 and go to S0. When x equal to 0, you output Z1 in the state S2 and go to S0. So ASM charts can be converted back to state machines also. Okay, it's another way of translation, or state machines can be represented as ASM chart. So in this lecture so far we have seen the basics of ASM chart, okay, how we can represent conditions in different forms, how the Mealy or Moore machine or their combination can be represented using the ASM chart. Okay, in the next lecture we will see how the realizations of ASM charts can be performed.